I'm sorry about all this. Mav pressed his forehead to Enoch's, closing his eyes. Life shouldn't be this cruel. I get that it is, but it doesn't make the pain go away. A small noise left Enoch's throat. A sorrowful understanding swirled from her into Mav, which curled a sad smile upon his lips. I wish I could have done more. Enoch huffed. According to her, he'd done all he could. That was enough, but it wasn't for him. And thank you for helping clean up the camp. It had taken several hours, even with Enoch's transporting most of the rubble to a nearby forest clearing. They'd found a few corpses among the rubble. Innocent people, killed from a company's greed and a man's idiocy. More people would weep tonight. More people might blame the Titans for it, even though that would be blasphemous. Enoch pushed forward. His smoldering anger began to abate at her presence. Thank you. Mav scratched behind her ear along the frill's edge. I hope to see you again, but on a better occasion. Enoch purred, rubbing her face against Mav's. Before he realized what he was doing, he was chuckling. He turned away from Enoch, from Ader, who stood beside her, from the depression in the ground where the Titans had once set up the mound of destroyed vehicles. Maren stood behind him, holding Thekon, the monkey's long arms wrapped around her. Mav planted his hand on Thekon's head. Rest up, Mav said. Unless you really get the call to swing in the trees again, then have at it. Mav, Maren warned, but Thekon grinned, moving his leg upward and patting Mav's head with the bottom of its foot. Thanks, bud, Mav said, voice neutral. Maren laughed as Thekon hopped away. Mav and Maren waved at Enoch, Thekon, and Ater. Mav's lips trembling, then made their way to camp in silence, save for several sniffles. We should get going, shouldn't we? Mav asked upon entering camp. Maren nodded. That's the best idea, I think. Maren had informed Mav that while he'd been clearing the rubble, details of the church's investigation had been finalized. Even first drafts of Sekko's plan to fund the forest restoration and aid in rebuilding portions of the campground had been completed. Blessed ones, a voice called. What's up? Mav asked. Colton lumbered toward them, panting. I wanted to know, excuse me, what you planned on doing now? Mav looked to Maren, who shrugged. We're heading out. You got everything else sorted, right? We'd only be a burden for you. Colton's bushy white mustache dipped as he frowned. That could never be the case. After all you've done for us. Technically, Julio wouldn't have attacked the Titans if we didn't tell him they were there. Colton's face darkened. That's hardly your fault, lovely leaper. I never would have thought Julio capable of it, even with our livelihood on the line. But if he could bring himself to attack Titans, he would have done something drastic eventually. Then who knows what would have happened. We're just happy we could help. What Mav had said in the cavern remained true. He really didn't get this girl. All week she'd harped on Mav about money. Now that everything was said and done, she wasn't demanding anything? She gave him a curious glance. Was he making a weird face? Are you sure I can't convince you to stay? Colton asked. Yep, Maren said. There's so little space now, and too many people to fill it. It'd be best if we go. It'll make things easier on you. Colton sighed. Then I'll leave you my sincerest thanks, Holy Leaper and Blessed Dancer. I promise to recommend your guild to anyone I can find, extolling your praises. What is your guild's name? Maren's cheeks reddened. We don't have one yet. Mav shrugged when a flabbergasted Colton looked at him. We're working on it. Then I shall remember your names, Colton said. Maren Daly and Maverick Ito. I look forward to reading the story covering the official birth of the newest, most unique guild in the country, even if it is currently nameless. It seemed the Eternal Titans had one more parting planned, for as Mav and Maren said their final goodbyes to Colton, they ran into yet another familiar face. Divine Wielders, Kellen shouted, his wife Orla pushing him in a wheelchair. Where are you off to? No idea, Mav said, but I'm sure it'll be exciting. Surely not as explosive as this. It might, Maren said. Why was her voice so hollow? She should be excited at the thought. It's not the first time we've done something big. Wow. Kellen blinked a few times. Well then, I wish you luck on your next great adventure. I can't wait to hear about... Oh, that's right. Your guild doesn't have a name. Maren's cheeks puffed, now turning scarlet. Something fluttered in Mav's stomach. I don't want to commit to something unless I really like it, Maren said. How about the Radiant Duo? Kellen said. That's way too close to Radiant Dawn, dear, Orla said. And we're gonna get more members, Mav said. How about Tenacious Travelers? Kellen said. Thanks for the suggestion, Maren said. But I want something different. Every guild has the adjective then noun name. Like the rest of our guild, I want the name to be unique. Mav nodded as if he had any idea what she was talking about. Oh, and Gracious Wave Leaper? Orla said very quickly. Maren blinked. Yes? I, wanted to apologize. For... yesterday morning, when the beneficent flame dancer carried our wagon, I... Orla scrunched her face and took a deep breath. I thought badly of you. She flinched as if expecting a verbal lashing. Maren, however, simply looked confused. And... Maren asked. And... Orla asked, incredulous. Are you not offended? I should apologize to you about yesterday. I wasn't in a good state of mind. It made me nastier than I should have been. You and your family didn't deserve that. So I'm sorry. I can hardly believe it, Kellen said. The one who saved our daughters' lives and then carried me and so many others is apologizing to us? What kind of crazy world do we live in? One where I'm not better than you, just because I'm gifted, Maren said. Then she glanced at Mav, who must have been giving her an odd look. What? Oh, Mav said. Nothing. But if this were the real Maren, then you could see this whole traveling guild thing working out long term. Only time would tell, however. The two of them would undoubtedly have other issues to work on. Certain secrets to learn about each other before this guild could work without issue. His old peacekeeper cohort had undergone so many trials and tribulations to become the family they were today. Why would this be any different? Then simply, easily, without any procession or tearful farewell, they left. Mav hadn't thought of it at the time, but they'd also departed Linux under similar circumstances. At least then it had been in the morning, and both were filled with high spirits. Now, it was growing later in the afternoon, near evening, and they were weary. The trees inched by as they traipsed along the path. It took nearly 2 hours for them to even reach the road they traveled for the last several days, and another hour for Maren to even speak up. All right, spill it, Maren said. Why do you keep looking at me like that? Like what? Mav asked. Like you're waiting for me to say or do something. When did I do that? At the meeting with the bishops, when we said goodbye to Colton, and every other 10 minutes after that. Oh, Mav remembered those first 2 times now. But had he really been looking at her that much? He bowed to her. I'm sorry for being creepy. Not that again. Was that a smile she was trying to hide? Just tell me what's up. I was confused. Why didn't you ask for any credits for what we did last night? Maren's ears turned, her nostrils flaring. Then she closed her eyes, took a breath. Like I said in the cave, I'll try to be better about that. Last night was too important for me to demand credits, especially since they technically already gave us our negotiated price of food and board. Did we even sleep last night? Mav asked. Maren laughed. I took a nap during the day, so I technically used the bedroom. Silence followed again, except for the footsteps, which sounded less frequently now. Maybe it was the exhaustion slowing his already limited brain speed, but it took him too long to realize he'd better say something too. If she were willing to admit where she was wrong, Mav should do the same. I'll be better too, Mav said. Maren's head drooped. Was that a nod? Or was she falling asleep while walking? I mean, I won't take a job unless it pays from now on, Mav said. Unless we need to, Maren said. Mav nodded. Unless we need to. Besides, Maren said, giving Mav a sly grin, while you were helping to clean up the camp, I got 1,000 credits from Secco. I hope you don't mind. Mav just couldn't win with her, could he? Regardless, he laughed. Nah, they deserve it. They pulled off the road shortly after, both too exhausted to move any farther. They barely managed to prop their tents open before the sun dipped beneath the tips of the trees. Maren didn't remember much after that. They might have ignored lighting a fire. She might have mumbled goodnight to Mav. She might have fumbled into her tent and lay down, but she didn't remember. Next she knew, it was 5 in the morning. Maren jolted awake, eyes wide, heart racing. Again, she'd woken to silence? Maren closed her eyes, straining her auditory sense. Nothing but a gentle breeze sounded from outside. Mav was either still sleeping, or he really had started working out farther away. Smiling, Maren blinked and the sun was shining from outside her tent. She checked her tablet, giving a contented sigh. It was only a little after 8, still earlier than she'd like, and she still didn't feel fully rested. But it was something. Maren made to grab her size-changing bookshelf when the sound of a zipper drew her attention. Footsteps sounded, growing fainter, as did a groan. Was Mav only waking up just now? Maren paused, hand over her mini bookshelf, then grabbed her size-changing dresser. In a minute, she was decked out in her workout clothing and taking off after Mav, who was doing some dynamic stretches. What are you doing here? Mav asked, wearing only loose workout shorts. His abs and pecs looked as crisp as the morning dew. Then he bowed. I'm sorry I woke you. I tried to be quiet and... It's not that, Maren said, thankful he couldn't see her flushing face. She turned away when he looked up. I need to get stronger. She slapped her thighs. I'm still sore from running up that cave. If I don't train, I won't be able to keep up with you, right? Mav's mouth hung open, processing what she said. Then he beamed. Awesome, Mav exclaimed. Then follow me. We'll take it easy after yesterday, so don't worry, but it'll still be a good workout. Without another word, he was off, smirking, trying to ignore her wailing muscles. She darted after him. It was tempting to stay behind him and watch his broad back, but she conquered that particular sin. There was no way in heaven, Talum, or hell she'd let him win this one.